How do I update my credit guide? This is a very common question that we get, and we'd like to provide you guys the tools to be able to do it for yourself because it will be quicker, easier, and simpler. Now, there are two different places that you can deploy credit guides in your business. Number one is in the email communication that gets sent out to the client, or two, you've embedded it into the form. We're going to go through the first aspect first, and there are two different approaches that we will take. The first one is it gets sent out in the emails, but all my emails, all attachments, everything is identical. The brokers don't have their own personality to the emails. It is the same across the board. Here's how you do that. First of all, in the admin account, we're going to go to apps. We're going to go to the application that we're wanting to update the credit guide for. And once we click on this, we're going to go to configure at the top. We will then go to configure notifications, and where it should be is in the request form. It's the first bit of information that gets sent out to the client. If we go into request form, at the very bottom, you'll see that there's an attachment. Now, it is as simple as just deleting it, adding a new attachment, and grabbing the new credit guide. Upload it, done, dusted, save, you're happy. But wait, there's one more thing. If you are not just a sole user, but there are other users, we need to deploy those changes to them as well. So all we're going to do is we're just going to leave. We're going to go to settings. We're going to go to team. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to shared apps. And we're just going to click the application that we made the changes to and share with all team members. Now what this will do is all the email communication, the attachments, everything will be deployed across all users so that everyone has the most updated form to work with. Now, the second way in regards to emails is, let's say you've got each broker, each user has their own credit guide, their own email templates. It's almost the same, but we just have to make the changes in each account. So each user, each broker will need to do this next bit. Once they log into their account, they will go to apps. They will go to the application that they are wanting to change the communication for, the attachment for. And once we go into here, they won't get this screen because they don't have permission, but they will still have configure at the top. They go to configure, they go to configure notifications, and then they can adjust the template. The reason is that if they've already made changes, if they already have their own personality to their communication, if you change it across the whole business, you'll wipe out everything that they've done. So each user, each broker has to make these changes individually. They just go down to the bottom, click delete, add the attachment, and save, and they're done. Each user, each broker will need to do that for each of their accounts. So that's emails. Now, if we move to the form, has the credit guide embedded into it. How do I make that change? And again, similar to emails, there's two different approaches. If we go in the admin account, if we go to the apps and we go to the application, where you find any attached document that's embedded in the form is under configure, under files. This is where the document is. Now, if you open this, it might be blank, or it might actually have some pre-filled sections. If you actually look on this particular document, we get the client to do full name, signature, and the date that they've signed on the credit guide to say that they are accepting. So if we go back, the thing that's a little bit complex that you might have to reach out to us to help is we need to find where it's embedded in the form. Now, if I actually go into the form itself via the create button at the top, we can tell that the privacy policy is usually where this would be. Now, if the first thing that you do is to remove this document and update it, that will actually make finding the document that's the issue a lot easier. So if we actually jump into this first and we see what we've got to work with, because again, if we're replacing it, we want to make sure that we're not changing anything else, we're just updating the document. We can see that there are signatures down here. So if I jump out of it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go to add document and I'm going to find the document. Once we upload it into the account, it will open up and we need to, again, re-add in those fields that were there before. Now, I'm not going to go too much into this, only because it's very rare that the credit guide will be built in to the form in this capacity. And if it is, then you should have already seen this before. And if not, please reach out so that we can assist. But right down the bottom where it was before, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag the full name of the applicant. I'm going to grab the signature, and I'm going to for the date, I am going to use this format for the date. And the full name will automatically pre-fill. They'll be able to sign, and then the date will pre-fill based on when they've signed it. There's no need to save. We could just go back, go into create. Now, because we've made a change, and you might have seen this before because I was setting this up prior to this video, but because there's an error, there's a document that the signature is looking for that doesn't exist. So it makes it very easy to find where we need to make the change because it's the only error that has appeared. If we go into privacy policy and go down the bottom, you'll notice here, there's no document attached. So if you open up the configure section, you can see here that there's a select document assigned. We're just going to select the credit guide and then all is well. Wait for it to save, click publish. And now the document that was embedded has been updated and been re-embedded so that any future deals, when the client goes to sign, they will have the new credit guide and they'll be able to do the exact same thing that they were doing before. And once this is done, you're all good to go.